Hello, everybody. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome to the stream of the. Thank you all so much for being so understanding and supportive. For the fact that we did not have a live stream last week because I was participating in a strike slash rally with our daycare providers to help ensure that we get state and government funding. So anyway, thank you for being understanding. But we're back this week and we are talking about crashing out. Okay. So if you are here, if you are watching, let me know when was the last time you had a crash out? Like a crash out where you acted like you were crashing out, not just like the internal one, because the internal ones I feel like happen most days, at least. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I feel like a lot of us have these internal crash outs, but a lot of us don't have external crash outs. And that change because the truth is you can't just crash out in your head and get the benefits of the crash out. And you might be like, benefits of the crash out? Like when I have a mental breakdown, there are not benefits. And to that, I say maybe you need some help with your mental breakdowns because have you guys seen there's this thing on social media about like post crash out clarity? I love post crash out clarity and that whole concept because what it says to me is that crash outs are essential for understanding yourself better. Crash outs are essential for feeling better. And you can't just jump the line and go from feeling horrible to feeling better. That's just not how it works. I actually taught a totally free workshop this morning called Fuck Feeling Better. You Need to Let Yourself Feel Worse. If you would like the replay for that, if you're not already signed up, go ahead and email me hello@megangriffith.com. That's MEGAN. Email me and I'll send you the replay for sure. But I just taught a whole workshop on the fact that feeling better is great and we all want to feel better, but we can't just jump to that. You have to acknowledge where you're starting from. You have to feel the way you're actually feeling first, and then you can start feeling better. And acknowledging where you're starting from oftentimes looks like crashing out. Okay. It looks like having a bit of a mentee bee. And I think that this is really underrated. This was a couple of weeks ago at this point, but this is the biggest crash out I've had in a really long time. So I'm going to use this as an example. And I'm literally not even going to tell you what I was crashing out about. That's how like big this was and how crappy it felt. I was like, I'm not even going to go there. But big crash out probably like a month ago, and it was huge and it was scary and it was stressful and I felt horrible, but I wasn't fully crashing out yet, right? So when it all started, it started with like that bubbly horrible feeling that like creeps up you and it's just like you feel bad, you know? So we started with that. And then, of course, I did the thing that I think a lot of us do. I tried to shove it down. I tried to be like, no, get off of me. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And it's like, girl, you're not fine. But I wanted to be fine. I thought I was supposed to be fine. And I just didn't want to think about the thing that was gonna make me crash out. I didn't have time to have a crash out. I had work that needed done. But of course I couldn't focus on any of my work because I needed to have a mental breakdown. I was freaking out, but I didn't want to be freaking out. So I pretended I wasn't. And sometimes this is what we call regulation. Like sometimes people are like, you need to regulate your emotions. And what they really mean is like, don't feel bad things. And I think that's really crappy because that's not what regulation actually is, by the way. Regulation is something really different. It's where you actually feel the really crappy feelings, the really big feelings, and then you move forward with them, like holding hands together, as opposed to this idea of like regulation means deep breathing and meditation and just feeling better. That's usually not what regulation is. Regulation is often very messy and often involves feeling worse at first. Um, where was I going with this? So my crash out. So I'm avoiding the crash out. I'm repressing the feelings. I'm like, go away, go away, go away. And finally, I'm sitting here staring at a blank screen, trying to figure out what to do, even though I have a whole to-do list for my business that needs done. But I couldn't focus on any of it because I felt horrible. And finally, we're going to lose it. We're just going to lose it for just a minute. And So basically, I started journaling. I was like, okay, this is going to open the floodgates. I know it is. So I started journaling. I got maybe a half a page before I just started breaking down in like ugly sobs, snotty sobs, like not pretty, not aesthetic, which is fine, by the way. Your life is not made to be pretty, but it was bad, right? It felt really bad. And then I was like, well, I want to talk to somebody about how I'm feeling, but I don't trust anybody with these feelings. I barely trust me with these feelings. Um, and I am married to the love of my life, to a truly wonderful and amazing man. And even him, I thought about texting him and I was like, I can't, he'll hate me. He'll hate me if I tell him how I'm feeling about this. And I was so proud of myself during this crash out because I was like, you know what? If he's going to hate me for feeling this way, I'd rather know that. I don't want to project onto him my expectations that he will hate me. I want to know for sure, you know? And so I texted him. I was like, oh my gosh. And he was so kind, which is like, duh, of course, he always is. But in that moment, it feels really risky. It feels really scary. And so I texted him. We texted back and forth about my crash out a little bit. I kept crying through the whole thing. I was also doing some stimming. So if you don't know what stimming is, it's self-stimulatory behavior. It's basically when you provide yourself with sensory input in order to help regulate your emotions. So I was doing some stimming, like kind of wagging my hands or like running my arms up and down the side of my desk, which like hurts just a little, but it's not like self-harm, which is good. And so texting husband, ugly crying, stimming. Let's see, what else did I do? Journaling. And I think I was screaming at one point. I was just like screaming into my hands and I was alone in the house, so it was fine. I don't recommend screaming if you have like little kids around because it tends to really scare them, but or animals maybe even, but regardless, I was alone, so I was screaming, I was crying, all this stuff. And then I just hit this point. It was like it's like I went through a membrane. That's what surrounding me, and I just walked through it. And all of a sudden, it wasn't like the crash out just ended and I was fine. But I did hit this point of like I have felt what I needed to feel. And it kept like popping back up in little bursts for the next like 10 minutes. Like, here's the thing. You need to feel it again for a little bit. And it's like, oh, okay. And then like, oh, here's the thing. Oh, okay. And so it kept like bubbling up a little bit. But that big, overwhelming feeling of like, I am going to die in this feeling started to subside, which was really, really magical and amazing. And here's the thing that I believe if I had kept pushing that emotion down and kept trying not to feel it, it would have lasted longer. I really, really believe that. I believe that crashing out is a shortcut to feeling better. But not only that, it's just an essential part of being a person. You are not only allowed to crash out, you have to. You have to. Because shitty things happen to people. Shitty things happen in our world all the time. Shitty things happen to you personally, and you have every right to be upset about it. You know? And so I got upset about this thing. And then what I did after that really helped me was I got up and I washed my face, and that felt really good, just getting all the tears off, you know. And then I have a standing desk and a walking pad, so I turned my standing desk up to the standing mode and I got my walking pad out because I was like, I just need to move. I need to walk away from this feeling, but I also like have to get started on work. I am really running behind now. And so I got my walking pad out and I started working, and my face was washed and clean, and I talked to and was supported by my husband. And like, this was probably one of the healthiest, best crash outs I've ever had in my life. And it was one of the worst like feelings that I started with, to be honest. It was really, really brutal and horrible. And I think that just goes to show the importance of having a little bit of a mental breakdown sometimes. And I use the term mental breakdown somewhat lightly because I do understand that sometimes people use that term to mean like a nervous breakdown kind of thing where it's longer term. But I am more using it in because I have a dissociative disorder, which means that nothing is long term for me because I have all these different parts of myself. It used to be known as multiple personality disorder, but that's not what it's called anymore. And I also have like a slight variation on it and stuff like that. So, anyway, nothing is really long term for me. So I don't judge stuff based on that. I used to, and I found that it was really not helpful because it just constantly felt like I wasn't feeling bad enough for long enough in order to be valid. And I was like, wait, what if I'm just valid anyway? So anyway, um, where was I going with the long term thing? Basically, just I could have felt worse for longer, and I didn't because I had a mental breakdown. Um, and that really helped me. And so the reason I'm talking about this is partially because it's just a human thing and I think we should talk about it more, but also because I am running a 4-week intensive called The Art of the Crashout that I am so excited for. It's going to be so much fun. And by fun, I mean it's also going to be hard work. It is an intensive. You're going to show up for 90 minutes once a week for 4 weeks. And we are just going to do the freaking work so that you can have these crash outs, these mental breakdowns without judging yourself for it, without shaming yourself for it, without like thinking that you shouldn't be doing it, without trying to repress it all the time and like shove it down. And it's like, what if we just felt what we needed to feel, you know? So I want to share my screen with you and show you the art of the crash out so that you can get a little taste for what this is going to be like. So it's called The Art of the Crash Out: How to Lose Your Shit Without Blowing Up Your Life before you've actually felt them. So this program is for you if you are an emotional mess deep down, but no one would ever know it. If you are over functioning your way to an early grave, if you're a little too good at telling people just a snippet of the truth so that they never see how bad you really feel, or if you are someone who is seriously considered inpatient psychiatric hospitalization despite being fine on the outside because something feels really wrong inside. Now, this program is absolutely not a replacement for any kind of hospitalization. It's not a replacement for therapy, none of that. But I think it could be really helpful. What it is a group coaching program. It's designed specifically for people who were called dramatic and too sensitive so often that they learned their whole job was to be fine. And now you're sick and tired and sad, and you can't figure out why because you were told to ignore how you felt. The Art of the Crash Out will help you finally feel all of those feelings that you've regulated away for all those years so that you can start feeling better. So what you get, like I said, there's 4 90-minute Zoom sessions. They're going to be on Wednesdays starting May 27th at 10 a.m. Eastern. There will be replays available. You'll also get a list of 32 impulsive but safe activity ideas for what to do during a crash out. I highly recommend this list. It's worth the whole price on its own. And we'll also be building a collaborative crash out playlist that I think you'll really like. Plus, if you join before May 22nd, you'll get a 30-minute one-on-one call with me to write your own crash out plan and build a crash out support box. And I will be giving you 4 prompts for how to do relationship repair if you crash out in a way that does end up causing harm or someone to become uncomfortable or upset. I think this is a big thing people tend to worry about is like, well, if I let myself feel my feelings, what if I turn into a jerk? What if I become an asshole? And it's like, first of all, you won't. But second of all, like, let's just address that. What if? And so I'll give you some tools to help with that. The price is $197. That's the total price. You get access to everything up here for that. And if you're inside the Do It Wrong Club, you get access for just $99 because Do It Wrong Club members get 50% off all of my group programs. So in just 4 weeks, I will teach you how to stop forcing your emotions to shrink down to their smallest possible expression and instead let them take up lots and lots of space without turning you into some kind of explosive asshole. By the end of our time working together, you'll have a solid plan for what to do the next time big, scary emotions show up in your chest, a plan that allows you to feel your feelings without accidentally hurting the people you love. So I get it. You're scared. Someone from your past probably used their emotions as a weapon that only they were allowed to wield. And you don't want to be like them. But I promise that there is a way to express more negative emotions without being like that person. And I can teach you how. If you don't know me that well, hi, hello, my name is Megan. I am a fellow too sensitive kid turned aggressively fine adult. Except the last 10 years or so, I've actually been getting back in touch with all those too sensitive emotions. And do you know what I'm learning? Emotions are good. And expressing those emotions are not just like, oh, nice to have, like it's good if you can get it. It's everything. You've got to be able to express yourself. So here's what we're going to do each week of the program. Week 1, we're going to establish boundaries. Week 2, we're going to play with those boundaries with some easier, like non-crash out emotions. Week 3, we will explore the crash out emotions that we've been avoiding. And week 4, that's week 3. Week 4 will be allowing those emotions to take up space within the boundaries that we established in week 1. Okay. Let's look at some FAQs, frequently asked questions. When are the calls? They are Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, and there will be replays. Are there replays? Yes. What if my problem is that I crash out too often, too hard? Can this program still help me? Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes, it can. Honestly, you're probably trying to repress your crash outs, and that's why they explode out of you so often. Whereas if you just let yourself have them fully, you'll actually start crashing out less. I just don't really want to hurt anyone. I'm afraid if I let all my rage and fear and sadness out, I'll scare people or hurt their feelings. If I do this program, will I end up? Honestly, you might scare people a little bit. You might make them uncomfortable. You might even make them upset. But I need you to know that that's not the same thing as harm. Harm and discomfort are not the same. And your job as a human is not to force yourself to be in actual literal pain just to spare others a little discomfort. So yes, if you join the program, you might end up riling up some feelings in others, but the program is actually designed to help you prevent from actual harm to yourself or others. So that shouldn't happen. Next up, there's a couple of testimonials from really lovely people who have loved working with me. Somebody said, "You're fucking brilliant." Somebody else said, "Thank you so much. I love the work you do. You may have changed my life forever." Literally everything you've taught me has surpassed even like 99% of the therapists I've worked with, because you truly understand what it means to exist as a neurodivergent person and struggle with depression and trauma. Your work is invaluable, literally priceless. Someone told me they liked doing my guided visualizations. They have a hard time leading themselves because they'll subconsciously guide themselves to a conclusion they already have acknowledged they want to go deeper, and I help them do that. Dearest Megan, you don't know me from Eve, and yet you touched my heart so deeply that I cried reading your message. Thank you. Thank you. And finally, I just want to close out with the idea that healing doesn't have to take forever. By the end of these 4 weeks, you will feel lighter than you have in years, because you'll finally allow yourself to fully feel things you've been avoiding since you were 6 years old. So this is the art of the crowd. I am really, really in love with this program. I can't wait to run it. We start May 27th. If you join before May 22nd, then you get a bunch of early bird bonuses, which are super cool and very fun. Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you have any questions. If you're watching the replay, feel free to comment below. And I'm super happy to answer those questions. The link to the Art of the Crash Out is in the description, but I will also drop it in the chat right now. There we go. And let's see, what else do I have for you? I think that's it. That's all I've really got. I love this program and I can't wait for you all to join it. You're going to have so much fun. If you would like to get 50% off of the Crash Out program, I encourage you to come join us in the Do It Wrong Club. There's that link. It's just megangriffith.com/do-it-wrong. And that way you can get 50% off this program, which could be really cool. If there's not any questions just now, I am probably going to hop off. But thank you all so much for coming. And I will see you all next week. And something else, just a little bonus for the people who've stayed till the end. I have decided I'm going to do my darndest to upload a video every single Sunday now. So there might be bonus videos sprinkled in, but I'm really aiming for every Sunday. I want to have a new video. It might be EFT, it might be a vlog, but I'm also adding a third category, which is misfit mentorship, which those are going to be more talking head videos where I just sit down and like talk to you about different stuff. So if you have anything you want me to do a mentorship video about, drop that in the comments and I would be thrilled to take your suggestions. So, okay, that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, replay crew. And I hope to see you inside the art of the crash out.